Someone let their date order for them. It did not go well.
Okay, so I genuinely thought I knew what I was doing. I really did.
I had orange tea on my white top within 20 minutes. Dead mortifying.
Inspired by the kind of story you'd find on Reddit, did you know that roughly 60% of first dates end within the first 45 minutes? Just gone, drinks half finished, excuses made, someone suddenly remembering a very urgent appointment with their cat.
60%. Honestly, that number is so much higher than I expected, and now I'm, personally offended on behalf of everyone who's ever bought overpriced cocktails for a stranger.
That is dead depressing, that is. Although, after what happened to me, I'm actually surprised the number isn't higher.
And that is exactly the story we are telling today. Sophie went on a first date at a lovely little restaurant in the city center. The kind of place with candles on the table and a menu that uses the word drizzled 3 times per dish. Her date, let's call him Jake.
Oh, we're calling him Jake, okay? Yeah, fine.
We are absolutely calling him Jake.
Had recently come back from a solo trip around Southeast Asia, and bless him, he was rather keen to share that information with everyone in earshot.
Okay, so look, in my defense, I had just got back from this incredible backpacking trip. I was a seasoned traveler at this point. I'd done layovers in 3 different countries. I knew how to read a departure board in Mandarin. Well, mostly. And I just wanted to seem, worldly.
A layover, right. So for anyone not sure, a layover is when your flight stops in another city before you reach your final destination. You're just stuck in an airport for a few hours. You don't even leave the terminal half the time.
It was a very long layover.
You were in Singapore for 4 hours, Jake.
So there they are, candles flickering, menus open, Jake doing his absolute best impression of a well-traveled man of the world. Now, the restaurant happened to be a Thai place, which Jake was very excited about because, and I quote,
I said, and I stand by this, I said, I know this cuisine really well. I've eaten street food all across the region. I'm basically a local. Those were my exact words. I was very confident.
He said it with such conviction, right, like he was a proper seasoned traveler. So I thought, yeah, all right, go on then, you order for us both. Dead romantic, isn't it? Letting your date order. Very continental.
Now a seasoned traveler, that's someone with a lot of experience, someone who's been around, knows the ropes. Jake had appointed himself one of these. Sophie, charmed by the confidence, agreed to let him choose. Jake opened the menu.
Okay, so here's the thing. The menu had a star system for spice levels. 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. And I thought, okay, 3 stars sounds amazing, I can handle it. I've eaten spicy food in Bangkok, this is nothing. And the waiter asked if we were sure, and I said.
He said, and I will never forget this, he said, we're well-traveled, we can handle it. He said we.
I was including you in my confidence. That's called being a team player.
I'd never left the UK. My idea of exotic food was a Nando's extra hot. I was not part of that we.
The food arrived, 2 bowls of what the menu called jungle curry, authentic regional recipe. Now, a regional recipe, for our learners, means it comes from a specific area or region of a country, not the version they soften up for tourists. This was the real thing.
It smelled incredible, honestly. Like the aroma hit you before the bowl even landed on the table. I was feeling great about this decision.
The aroma, yes, it did smell lovely. Right up until I took the first bite and my entire face caught fire.
Okay, but aroma, right? So for anyone wondering, the aroma of something is just the smell of it, usually a nice one, like when you walk into a bakery and everything smells warm and amazing. That's the aroma. This curry had an incredible aroma. The taste was also incredible. Maybe more incredible than Sophie was ready for.
I started sweating, Oliver, on a first date, proper, actual, visible sweating. My eyes were streaming. I looked like I was crying. I was not crying. I was just dissolving.
Today's English word is jet-lagged. It means exhausted and disoriented after a long flight across time zones. And Jake was absolutely jet-lagged from his trip, which, he would later admit, meant his sense of judgment was not exactly at its sharpest when he ordered the 3-star curry.
That is a completely fair and valid point. I was jet-lagged. I hadn't fully recovered. My taste buds were still like recalibrating, in a different time zone.
You were jet-lagged, I was on fire. These are not equivalent problems.
Sophie, in a desperate bid to cool down, grabbed what she thought was a glass of water. It was not water. It was the complimentary Thai iced tea, which is sweet, not cooling, and she drank the entire thing in one go.
Which made it worse. So now I'm sweating, crying, and I've got bright orange Thai tea all down my white top. On a first date, in a restaurant with candles and drizzled things on the menu.
I genuinely didn't know what to do. I tried to be helpful. I waved the waiter over and I asked, very politely, if they had anything milder like a local dish, something more familiar, and I used the phrase off the beaten track, thinking it meant something simple and traditional.
Off the beaten track means away from the usual tourist places, like something hidden and adventurous that most people don't find. It does not mean a mild curry, please.
The waiter looked at me for a long time, like a long, long time.
The waiter, to his enormous credit, brought Sophie a plain bowl of jasmine rice and a sympathetic smile. Jake attempted to recover the evening by doing what all jet-lagged, overconfident travelers do in a crisis. He told more travel stories.
I thought it would help. I started talking about this one time I got completely lost on a trip, like totally off the beaten track in Vietnam, no map, no signal, and I found this incredible village and the people were so welcoming and the food was.
He said the food was amazing, while I was sat there with orange tea on my chest, Oliver. He looked me dead in the eye and said the food was amazing.
I read the room badly. I fully acknowledge that.
Now getting lost off the beaten track, that phrase means leaving the well-known tourist path and finding somewhere more unusual, more authentic. It's a lovely thing on an actual trip. It is less lovely as dinner conversation when your date has aroma-induced tears running down her face.
I excused myself to go to the bathroom and I genuinely stood in there for 5 minutes doing breathing exercises, like I'd just run a marathon, in the Sahara.
Okay, but here's the thing, when she came back she was laughing, like actually laughing. And I was like, oh okay, maybe we're going to be all right.
I was laughing because it was so completely, spectacularly wrong. Like, what else do you do? The candles were still going. He looked so genuinely sorry. It was actually dead funny by that point.
And so the jet-lagged world explorer and the woman who'd accidentally signed up for a culinary adventure she did not pack for, they finished the date. Jake, to his credit, paid for everything, including the replacement top Sophie had to order online that night. And they did somehow go on a second date.
I picked the restaurant the second time too. Italian, nothing above a 1 on any spice scale. I checked with the chef beforehand. I was not taking any chances.
He asked the chef if there was anything off the beaten track on the menu, and the chef just brought out a breadstick. That is a true story.
Moral of the story, perhaps, is this. When someone tells you they're a seasoned traveler, ask for references, or at the very least, order your own food. Now, before we wrap up, let's quickly revisit the travel phrases we picked up today because they came up beautifully in context. A layover is a stop between flights. A regional recipe is local, authentic, not softened for tourists. The aroma is the wonderful smell of something. Jet-lagged means exhausted after crossing time zones. And off the beaten track means away from the usual tourist spots, somewhere hidden and adventurous. All of these phrases will serve you well, just, perhaps, not on a first date.
Also, seasoned traveler means someone with loads of travel experience. Jake was not, in fact, seasoned. He was just confident, which, honestly, is a completely different thing.
I was seasoned adjacent. I was in the seasoned traveler waiting room.
And that is where we leave today's story. Orange tea, jasmine rice, and a man who will never again use the phrase, "we can handle it," without written consent from all parties involved.
If that made you laugh or cringe, honestly, probably both, drop us a like. It genuinely means so much, and it helps other learners find the show.
Follow us so you never miss another story like this one. There are proper brilliant ones coming up, and you do not want to miss them.
Subscribe to English Through Stories, new episodes every single day, and every one of them will teach you something useful, usually at someone's expense.
See you on the next one.